بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the book, seeing the signs of Allah everywhere that I look, every ayah, every chapter, every line that he put, from Noah and Lut to Ibrahim and Namrud, or tomorrow I could be Yunus in the belly of the Hut, or taking on a tyrant, David and Goliath. Where's the stone that was thrown to take down the giant?
Everything the Quran touches turns to gold. So don't be afraid to let it touch your soul. From the house of might to the mountain of light, on a powerful night, when the hour was right, there came down from the heavens an astounding sight, caught the eyes of a man who could neither read nor write, in the grasp of an angel being squeezed so tight. See, even when man can barely breathe, he still has the need to recite. O you who believe, respond to Allah and His Messenger when they call you to that which gives you life. Everything the Quran touches turns to gold, so don't be afraid to let it touch your soul. An unlettered man in the mouth of a cave, until Allah cast His light into the heart of His slave. The same light with all of its rays brought men out of darkness, honored and raised, brought women out of bondage, celebrated and praised, brought the daughters of darkness out of the bottom of graves. If ignorance was a prison for those stuck in their ways, then the Quran is the key that unlocked the cage. Everything the Quran touches turns to gold, so don't be afraid to let it touch your soul. The best nation ever brought forth for the benefit of man. That's the ripple effect when Allah sent the Quran. How is it that the weak and the worthless who were oppressed in the land became the strength of a nation that would reach the world in span? Took the worst of the worst and gave them worth in Islam. Taught the lost and misguided that their purpose was grand. Who knew that the tortured voice of Bilal would be the first to call the adhan? Who knew the sword of Khalid would be a force to withstand? Who knew that Umar would administer justice with an even hand? Who knew the Ummah would be carried by the faith of Abi Bakr and the wealth of Uthman? You want to know how far they came? Just ask Salman, just ask Suhaib, who traded the wealth in his hands and the precious treasures that he buried in the sand for the priceless treasure of al-Islam. Radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. Everything the Quran touches turns to gold, so don't be afraid to let it touch your soul. Only 23 years of revelation to build an entire nation under the leadership of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam and divine inspiration. The Romans have been defeated and the Persians are overtaken, yet Islam lives on for countless generations. How can a people be forsaken when faith is their foundation and they are grateful to their Lord and uphold His legislations? We don't know our own potential. We're afraid of transformation. We'd be lifted out of darkness and raised to higher stations. How miraculous a book. What an amazing revelation. May it guide us by its statements all the way to salvation. Those who embrace it shall remain in elevation, and for those who forsake it is a day of degradation.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
Searching for light in the last third of the night, tossing and turning, soul yearning for purpose in life. I'm just a servant, searching for the perfect verse to recite, to worship the Lord of mercy and might. My face meets the floor and it's love at first sight. No words to describe it, it just feels right. Submission in my limbs, devotion in my heart, remembrance on my tongue. I know of no other way to keep the spirit from going numb. Revelation and preservation in the pit of my lungs. The recitation hits my eardrums and the tears start to run. Labaik Allahumma labaik. Oh Allah, here I come, like Ibrahim around the house that he built with his son, like Musa up the river you delivered him from, like Yusuf in prison waiting for another vision to come, like Nuh upon his ark 1,000 years young, like the prophets and the messengers is how I pray to become. So I wake up from my slumber before you raise the sun to make sure that your praise is sung before the sun rays blaze the slums, isolation for days to come. The soul craves the type of caves where messengers were made. They'd bow on top of mountains and weep beside the grave like John did as a kid for 3 whole days and a daze, filling up their scales with thanks and praise. And here I am, just trying to be a grateful slave, half sinner, half sage, standing at center stage, an hour before Fajr, trying to channel my inner rage. This is the hour when men have ascended to God. This is the closest we can get to Isra wal Mi'raj. This is the distance to the furthest mosque. But we have to be awake to make the journey across. Searching for light in the last third of the night. Tossing and turning, soul yearning for purpose in life. I'm just a servant, searching for the perfect verse to recite, to worship the Lord of mercy and might. My face meets the floor, and it's love at first sight. No words to describe it, it just feels right.
Freeze! Put down the weapon and show me your hands, and if you even breathe the wrong way, it's over, young man.
It's not a weapon, officer. It's only the Quran. I wasn't doing anything wrong except for practicing Islam.
Don't you backtalk me, buddy. It's not the first time I've dealt with your type. Dressed in all white, lurking the streets in the middle of the night. It's 5 a.m. and you're out here in the dark looking suspicious, and then you have the audacity to claim to be religious?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I was just reading my book. You giving me that look. What did I even do for you to treat me like a crook? I'm on my way to the mosque. It's almost time for the prayer. How about you just let me go and we can deal with this later?
What do I look like, a fool?
Well,
It's a little late to be kneeling unless you're hiding, ducking, stealing, or breaking in a building. You're not going anywhere, buddy, and I suggest you do what I say, or today might be the last day you ever get to pray.
Okay. You want to pat me down? Fine. But at least tell me, what's my crime? Is it because I live by the book line by line and reflect on its verses one at a time? Am I a crook because I'm hooked on that majestic rhyme? The real criminal are those who neglect his signs.
I've heard enough out of you, buddy. You want to pray as you please? Okay, then put your hands up by your ears and drop down to your knees. Put your forehead to the ground and surrender right now. And if you make one wrong move, then that'll be the last time you bow.
Okay. You want to pat me down? You're searching for some type of proof? I can show you right now. I can show you some stuff in this book that'll have you like, wow, no man in the world can be that profound. You don't have to go too far if you're searching for the truth. From cover to cover, this book is packed with proof.
Sure thing, son.
Okay.
I've heard it all before, but what it really comes down to is my word against yours.
Well, it's not my word, sir. It's the word of my Lord. You can accuse me of fraud if you like, but his word can never be forged.
Listen, unless you're ready to confess, I suggest you speak no more, because anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law.
But I'm just trying to find a little peace in a world at war. And for the record, I think you're mad because you don't even know what you're searching for.
So what are you trying to say? That I don't know my own creed? Buddy, I can tell a criminal from all the way overseas. I can smell him when he's guilty. I can see it in his eyes. So don't judge me for not believing in your lies. Save it for the judge, my man. You'll have all the time you need to confess. It's gonna be a long day for you, buddy. You are under arrest.
I'm going to ask you some very simple and direct questions. I suggest that you answer them in the same fashion.
The straight path is scattered over with spikes and thorns and broken glass. And sometimes the test of faith can feel like an open gash or a hot coal in a closed grasp. But no matter how many obstacles you face upon this path, hold fast. When you start to feel like practicing Islam is an impossible task, hold fast. No matter how much they point, no matter how much they laugh, hold fast. The truth has come, and as for falsehood, it won't last. There are those who want to take you away from Dhalikal Kitab. Once you walk in this earth without falaq nas, khuliqa al-insanu min alaq. But they teach you evolution in class, give you 1,000 books to study just so they can pass, and leave you without a moment for dhalikal kitab. There are those who don't want to see you pray, they don't want to see you fast, they rather see you darleen and stray from the path, suspicious of your beard, questioning your hijab, coming up with all types of claims to make you seem bad. Everything you've ever memorized, they want to strip it from your heart, take that light upon light and leave you stranded in the dark. Your ta'muruna bil ma'rufi is tearing them apart. Your tanhona anil munkari is the reason why they plot. You tu'minuna billahi wa tuqimuna salah. And in some places in the world, that's enough to get you shot. Your adherence to the haqq is really what they mock, but what pains them the most, they can't get you to stop. Hold fast. No matter how many obstacles you face upon this path, hold fast. When you start to feel like practicing Islam is an impossible task, hold fast. No matter how much they point, no matter how much they laugh, hold fast. The truth has come, and as for falsehood, it won't last. Indeed, mankind is in a state of loss. For what is man without ikhlas? Walk in this world without his cloth. They even make laws now to make you take it off. Now what if that same person is your boss? Brother can't get a job now unless he shaves it off. But what is it really that they can't stand? Is it the way you pray? Is it the way you stand? Or maybe it's that brotherhood built upon iman, praying side by side, kal bunyan, that allafa bayna qulubihim. Is that what they can't stand? One thing's for sure, they don't want to see you spreading that Islam, riding around playing your Quran, looking at you wrong when your phone makes adhan. The last thing they want for man is to know the truth about insan. But no matter what they do, no matter how many they are, no matter how few, it's never about them, it's always about you. It's never about them, it's always about you. Holding fast to your faith and staying true, like those who said, my Lord is Allah. ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا. Hold fast. No matter how many obstacles you face upon this path, hold fast. When you start to feel like practicing Islam is an impossible task, hold fast. No matter how much they point, no matter how much they laugh, hold fast. The truth has come, and as for falsehood, it won't last.
Then you have no fear anymore. You're completely free.
As long as the heart is captivated by the Quran, the soul will never be the captive of man. As long as the heart is captivated by the Quran, the soul will never be the captive of man. I'm free at last I'm free. Cages open, shackles broken, the Quran is the key. Unlock my soul from the cells of grief. Unleash my joy, let me dwell in peace. Unchain my brain, let the pain release. Verse by verse, bring my heart relief. Build me a fortress out of firm belief that those searching for peace might find a place of retreat, a voice of comfort in the face of defeat. So our hearts won't die in the storms we weep, and our hopes won't drown in the floods of grief. Page by page we can break the leash, barricade our minds from doubt and deceit, bulletproof our hearts from self-conceit. In a world unstable, make firm our feet, make our faces bright and our light complete. Engulfed in the speech of Allah, every verse is deep. Remove the bars and the chains so the words can reach. Remove the scars and the pain with the words he speaks. There's a war going on in the soul beneath, a never-ending battle till the soul's deceased. This world is a beast with long claws and sharp teeth, breathing down my neck, yet I'm engulfed in peace. As long as the heart is captivated by the Quran, the soul will never be the captive of man. I'm free at last I'm free. The blindfold is lifted, I can finally see. Like Ibrahim in the fire, Musa at the sea, Muhammad in the cave with nowhere to flee. But his book is like shelter to a refugee, reciting through the night until he rescues me. Reciting through the night until he rescues me. In the belly of the well until he sets me free. Surrounded by an army saying, Kalla inna ma'iya rabbi. Before I turn and I run, I fall down to my knees, place my face to the ground, and I make my plea. If my Lord in his mercy has forgiven me, then it does not matter if this world has forsaken me. I'm free at last I'm free. I'm free at last. وَلَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. I'm free at last. وَاسْتَوَتْ عَلَى الْجُودِ. I'm free at last. إِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَى رَبِّي. As long as the heart is captivated by the Quran, the soul will never be the captive of man. I'm free at last. At last I'm free.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم